The Sassanids were quick to capitalize on this advantageous position, establishing a complex system of trade routes, customs, and tariffs that would become the envy of other empires. As the Sassanids expanded their territories, they also invested heavily in infrastructure development. They built roads, bridges, and caravanserais, which were essentially roadside inns that catered to the needs of traveling merchants. These caravanserais were crucial to the smooth functioning of trade, providing a safe and secure environment for merchants to rest, refuel, and conduct business. By 260 AD, the Sassanids had established a network of these caravanserais along the Silk Road, further solidifying their control over the trade routes. The Sassanids' economy was also driven by their control of key resources, such as silk, spices, and precious metals. They had a virtual monopoly on the silk trade, which was incredibly lucrative at the time. Silk was highly prized in the Roman Empire, and the Sassanids were more than happy to cater to this demand. They also controlled the trade in spices, such as pepper and cinnamon, which were highly valued for their flavor and preservative properties. By 300 AD, the Sassanids had established a thriving economy, with trade revenues pouring in from all directions. But the Sassanids weren't just passive traders. They were also actively involved in the production of goods. They had a highly developed manufacturing sector, with textiles, ceramics, and metalwork being some of the key industries. The city of Ctesiphon, the Sassanid capital, was a major center of production, with artisans and craftsmen producing some of the most exquisite goods in the ancient world. By 320 AD, Ctesiphon had become a major hub of commerce, with merchants and traders flocking to the city to buy and sell goods. The Sassanids' success in trade and commerce was also due in part to their tolerant and cosmopolitan attitude. They allowed merchants and traders from all over the world to operate in their territories, regardless of their religion or ethnicity. This created a vibrant and dynamic cultural landscape, with people from different backgrounds interacting and exchanging ideas. The Sassanids even allowed the Romans to establish trade missions in their territories, which helped to further fuel the growth of trade. By 350 AD, the Sassanids had established a reputation as a welcoming and business-friendly empire, attracting merchants and traders from all corners of the globe. In 363 AD, the Sassanids clashed with the Romans in the Battle of Ctesiphon, which marked a significant turning point in their relations. Although the Sassanids emerged victorious, the war had a devastating impact on their economy, with trade revenues declining significantly. However, they were able to recover quickly, and by 380 AD, they had re-established their control over the Silk Road. The Sassanids continued to thrive until the 7th century AD, when they were eventually conquered by the Arabs. Despite their decline, the Sassanids left a lasting legacy in the world of trade and commerce, and their impact can still be felt today. As we explore the history of the Sassanid Empire, it's clear that their success was due to a combination of factors, including their strategic location, investment in infrastructure, control of key resources, and tolerant attitude. They were a true powerhouse of ancient trade, and their legacy continues to inspire and fascinate us to this day. The Sassanid story is a testament to the power of commerce and cultural exchange, and serves as a reminder of the importance of trade in shaping the course of human history. With their extensive trade networks, complex system of customs and tariffs, and thriving economy, the Sassanids were truly the gatekeepers of the ancient world. By examining their history, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of trade and commerce in the ancient world, and appreciate the significant contributions that the Sassanids made to the development of global trade. Now that we've set the stage for the Sassanid Empire's pivotal role in the ancient world, let's dive deeper into the nitty-gritty of their economy and explore just how they managed to become the nexus of the Silk Road. The Sassanids' strategic location at the crossroads of the world gave them unparalleled control over the flow of goods, ideas, and cultures between East and West. But what does that really mean in terms of numbers and trade volume? To put it into perspective, The Silk Road was a network of over 4,000 miles of trade routes that spanned from China to the Mediterranean, with the Sassanid Empire sitting squarely in the middle. This meant that they had the power to tax, regulate, and facilitate trade between the two major economic powers of the time, the Roman Empire and the Chinese Empire. It's estimated that during the Sassanid period, the Silk Road was responsible for the exchange of over 20,000 tons of goods per year, including everything from spices and textiles to metals and precious stones. The Sassanids' control over the heart of the Silk Road gave them a unique advantage in terms of trade. They were able to impose taxes and tariffs on goods passing through their territory, which generated a significant source of revenue for the empire. In fact, it's estimated that the Sassanids collected over 10 million gold coins per year in customs duties alone. To put that into perspective, that's equivalent to around $100 million in today's money. Not bad for an empire that's often overlooked in the history books. But the Sassanids weren't just content to sit back and collect taxes. They were also actively involved in the production and trade of goods themselves. The empire was famous for its high-quality textiles, including silk, wool, and cotton, which were highly prized by merchants and traders from all over the world. In fact, the Sassanids were so skilled at textile production that they were able to export their goods to both the Roman and Chinese empires, often at a significant markup. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Sassanid economy is the way they managed to balance their trade relationships with both the East and the West. While the Roman Empire was trying to strangle the Sassanids with trade embargoes and economic sanctions, the Sassanids were busy forging close ties with the Chinese Empire. In fact, the Sassanids were one of the first empires to establish formal diplomatic relations with China, which gave them access to the Chinese market and allowed them to trade goods like silk, tea, and spices. The Sassanids' relationships with other empires and kingdoms were equally complex and multifaceted. They had a long-standing rivalry with the Roman Empire, which often boiled over into outright war. But at the same time, they were